Find out how the city of Rock Island is planning to preserve the city's historic buildings. Then election results from yesterday's primary races with both wins and losses for the party's frontrunners.
WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Emily Scarlett. Thanks for watching Local 4 News this morning. The hunt continues this morning for at least one suspect connected to Tuesday's terror attacks in Belgium. Now, we did learn about an hour ago that one suspected bomber has been arrested, but it's unclear how that's related to the suspect they're still searching for. The bombings at the airport and subway station left at least 34 people dead and injured hundreds more, including Americans. Tina Kraus has the latest from London.
Authorities continued searching the Brussels neighborhood of Scarbeck overnight, looking for suspects connected to Tuesday's deadly terror attacks. One of them, seen here with two of the suspected airport attackers, is said to be on the run. Belgian prosecutors say he vanished, leaving his luggage at the scene, while the men next to him died when they detonated explosives hidden in their bags. Police raided a house in the area Tuesday and found chemicals, an explosive device containing nails, and an ISIS flag.
It's a bit weird to think that there are people so close to you that could do something like that.
Security teams locked down Brussels yesterday when ISIS terrorists set off explosions at an airport and train station. Emergency officials treated many of the wounded on the streets.
You see it in movie, but you cannot imagine when you see people yelling like they are going to die.
A memorial is now growing in the center of the city for those killed. Many mourners are reminded of the ISIS terror attacks that struck Paris just 4 months ago.
These guys are going after soft targets, right, on the near side of security. We have to push that security perimeter out. Number two, we need better intelligence.
The assault on Brussels came days after the arrest of the prime suspect in the Paris attacks. So far, authorities in Belgium have not made a direct link between the two events. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
And those with friends and family in Belgium can turn to social media to keep tabs on loved ones. Facebook activated its safety check feature in response to the attacks. It lets users mark themselves as safe and send alerts to their friends and family. That's something particularly useful in Belgium right now. Students studying abroad from Augustana College, St. Ambrose, Western Illinois, and Iowa State universities, as well as the University of Iowa, have all been accounted for. You can find more coverage on the Brussels attacks on our website, ourquadcities.com, and on our Facebook page, WHBF TV. Rock Island has a lot of history, but preserving historic buildings is a challenge for any city. That's why city staff have created a plan to integrate the old into the new. Local 4's Greta Patrick joins us now live at Rock Island's historic public library. She'll tell us more about the Heritage Resources Plan. Good morning, Greta.
Good morning, Emily. Well, city staff started drafting the Heritage Resource Plan last year, and they're unveiling that draft tonight. That'll be here at the Rock Island Public Library, which is one of Rock Island's historic buildings. And this one, as you can see, has been pretty well preserved, but that's not the case for a lot of older buildings. According to city documents, half of all the buildings in Rock Island were constructed before 1950. City documents also say historically Rock Island residents and staff have pushed for historic preservation, but not all of the historic buildings have been well preserved. That's partly because historic buildings cost a lot to maintain. The city recognizes that many of its historic structures can be made into usable buildings. Finding a developer and a use for those older buildings is a challenge. Brandy Howe, one of the city planners, says this Heritage Resource Plan will help bring those older buildings into the city's plan. And that way, preservation will be more of a priority.
The city's going to be using it when considering new, the city will use this document when they make determinations for future historic districts or landmarks. We're also going to be using it when we try to marry both economic development and resource protection efforts.
You can see the plan and tell city employees what you think of it at tonight's open house. It'll be here at the Rock Island Public Library from 5 to 7 p.m. so that you can add your voice to their planning process. Greta Patrick, Local 4 News this morning.
Thank you, Greta. Iowa lawmakers have reached a compromise on spending for public schools, but not everyone is happy about the deal. A House and Senate conference agreed yesterday to increase spending by 2.25% for the next academic year. Some Democratic lawmakers and education groups say this will not be enough for school districts struggling financially. That includes Davenport Superintendent Art Tate. He tells Local 4 News his district would have to use $2.7 million in reserves and cut operations by $5.5 million. The deal needs to be approved by the House and Senate before going to Governor Terry Branstad for review. Big wins last night for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in Arizona, but the pair did not sweep the day's primary elections. Bernie Sanders won both Idaho and Utah, but that's not enough to cut Hillary Clinton's big delegate lead. She took Arizona, the biggest prize of the night. Clinton now has a total delegate lead of 1,214 to Sanders' 925. 2,383 are needed to win the nomination. Across the aisle, a big upset for Trump in Utah. Ted Cruz will take all 40 of that state's delegates after finishing with more than 50% of the vote. Right now, the Republican delegate count stands at 739 for Trump, 465 for Cruz. They'll need 1,237 delegates to win their party's nomination. And we talked about this earlier, Anthony, an endorsement coming from a former Republican candidate.
Yes, former governor of Florida, Jeb Bush, has endorsed Ted Cruz in this race. And interesting, you know, all of the major candidates still running for president on both sides of the aisle weighed in on the Brussels attack yesterday. But late yesterday, an interesting Twitter war developed between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz over their wives, attacking each other's wives and making threats.
That's always scary when the family members become a part of it. Unfortunately, they seem to be fair game once these political races get to be as serious as they are now.
Yeah, you know, it is. And it's sad. You know, focus on the issues, focus on each other. You know, Cruz is being called lying Ted from Donald Trump. And so it's interesting just watching it. But it's also a little scary, too, seeing that these are two major candidates running for office having this kind of battle.
Right. There definitely seem to be more important issues at stake. Anthony, how are things looking outside for us this morning?
Well, that's an important issue, too, if you're traveling to northern and western Iowa later today, because they are expecting some heavy snow, 6 to 10 inches. We could see a little bit of snow here tomorrow. But before then, we're going to have another decent day today across much of the area, temperature-wise, with rain moving in. 43 right now in the Quad Cities. Here's our precision Doppler radar showing the heaviest of the rain now moving up toward the Cedar Rapids and Waterloo area. But as we zoom in here, you can see there's still an isolated heavier shower across the area right now. That's heading into Louisa County near Winfield, also one just to the southwest of Iowa City. As we put our satellite radar into motion, you can see how that line moved in, and most of it, the southern edge, is fading away. Temperatures are going to be rather warm across the south today, closing in on 60 to 70 degrees. Northern hometowns may only be near 40, but tomorrow temperatures continue to fall. Rain changes to sleet, then snow. We could pick up some minor accumulation, but I'll have all the details coming up in our full forecast.
All right, well, what's sticking out to me is almost the end of March, more snow.
Yeah, but the good news is, unless it's a huge snowstorm like they're seeing across northern and western Iowa, it's not going to stick around long.
All right, that is good news. Thank you, Anthony. The Hawkeyes are thinking football, and how about some softball? We've got your morning sports next.
Stay with us. The time now is 6:39. You're watching Local 4 News this morning.
WHBF is local for you with Emily Scarlett and meteorologist Anthony Peoples. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.